Well, good evening, everyone. This is May 23rd, 2022, a Monday evening, 6 o'clock in the evening. And we are Tustin Longevity Center, a functional medicine, integrative medicine clinic. Our six physicians, we have a new physician, Dr. Deidre Habermill is here, a board certified gynecologist, lots of years of experience with functional medicine and natural hormones, has just rejoined us. I had the privilege of knowing her and working with her many years ago, and she'll help us with our natural gynecological services. Plus, she's a addiction medicine specialist and has her master's in business, and I think she got that from Harvard or something. So, quite a impressive woman. Anyway, so us six doctors here, and we're looking very much forward to having Dr. Kaur come back. She has her little daughter who will be 4 months old, and then she'll be coming back after next week. And then in mid-July, we'll have Dr. Patel, P.A. Patel, coming back with us, and that will put us up to full. And hopefully, we will have another doctor here shortly as well. Maybe this will be a man doctor, and that will help us with our men for doing their urogenital exams and so forth as well, and many other natural things. So we're very excited for our future. We're here to try and support the patient population, their family and friends, to answer questions. This is not for individual management, but this is educational. So if you have a question that's so specific to your personal care or something, I ask you to call the office and leave a question on the phone for me to get back to you at work while during work hours. The number is 714-544-1521. Again, that is 714-544-1521. Or you can text us at office@tlcdoctors.com. That is office@tlcdoctors.com. And we'll try and get to your question. I do not have a list today of any emailed in questions. I think I saw a emailed question a week ago. I'm not sure if that was sent in and put into a stack to get to me, or if we miss something like that, please remail it in, and I will make clear with Talon and Blake, who help us run the online question and answer for the TLC Health Freedom Tribe here. We will then try and make sure we don't miss any of your email questions. And just make sure you identify a question for the Ask the Doctor on Monday night, 6 p.m., so that we know this is a generalized question. All right, why don't we begin with our questions here. Sean Espinoza, and I believe Sean is the one who gave us our name, TLC Health Freedom Tribe. So hi, Sean. Hi, Dr. E. He says, for someone trying to manage autoimmune disease, what are your thoughts on incorporating organic heavy whipping cream and herbs such as parsley, cilantro into an 8-week carnivore diet? I am very much in favor of heavy whipping cream because that's part of a carnivore diet. It's an animal product. The cilantro and parsley would not be. Not that I am a strict carnivore myself. I am largely carnivore. But if you want to use that, I presume you're trying to do that for detoxing, because cilantro promotes detoxing and such. So again, we all own our own bodies, and a carnivore diet is such a nutrient-dense, rich diet from the wild, free-range, prairie-caught animal sources. So it is a complete diet, and therefore I'm very much in favor of it. And it is probably the number one, if you would call it a elimination diet. If you want to talk about elimination of things that are associated with autoimmune, the carnivore diet is the ultimate in elimination diets. So be careful that you're trying not to work too much to make it an entertainment, because you're using food to heal you rather than to entertain you. And so I'm not against it all. Some parsley for flavor and some cilantro. Now, if you're putting it in a blender and you're having a cup or two of it blended every day, now you're getting into the plant kingdom and lectins, and that might not be something that is uh, so good, you might say, with trying to call yourself carnivore, because you amplify the sugars that are in it when you blend it, and you expose yourself to a larger, huge pulverized lectin exposure. Sean also goes on to ask, currently reading the book Carnivore Cure, yeah, by Judy Chow. Yes, that's a good book per your recommendations. Great book, packed with valuable information. Thanks for the recommendation. There you go. Judy Chow is not a doctor, but she wrote an excellent book as a layperson, and every one of us is valuable. Oops, I forgot to turn my phone off. And let's see here. C, what do I need to do before and after removal of mercury fillings? Is it okay to use regular Dennis? I used a biological Dennis. I think it's okay to use a regular Dennis. They're not going to put the dam in and have the evacuation of the fumes with a regular dentist. But if you do a high dose vitamin C drip and chelation, we do it combined as what we call enhanced chelation, where we take a vitamin C with chelation. And I would do that before and after. I would do the chelation maybe immediately afterwards, right from the dentist's office. I would go to your appointment for chelation therapy and maybe do another one the next day. But you have to remember, there are no real, or at least that I'm aware of, studies on, the ideal, perfect thing to do. The best is a biological dentist with the dam and the ventilation and all that. Some dentists will start, I know biologic dentists that start their own intravenous vitamin C while you're getting it. They don't use chelation. Chelation would be the better thing. But if we have some biological dentists around here, I think I had one listed here, I think from a week or two ago. I don't know what happened to last Monday night. It seemed like it just stopped on me right after about 28 minutes. This whole program just ended and shut down. I hope that doesn't happen again. But we had Dr. McBride in Long Beach. He's a dentist that is a biological dentist, Dr. Mick, McBride. And then there is a Dr. Son, Son, in Orange County, who is another biological dentist. You don't have to be a patient here to receive chelation therapy. You can do it as a walk-in. You can schedule, call the office, 714-544-1521. And you can schedule as an outpatient or a walk-in rather, and the nurse will ask you a few questions, listen to your heart and stuff, and unless there's something as a red flag, they will allow you to have the chelation therapy and a vitamin C. And so you could make your appointment and get a chelation, and then you can do that immediately after and the next day afterwards. So that would be my recommendation. So hopefully that helps you, Lee C. All right, C. Leah, hi, Dr. Ellithorpe. 2 questions. What is a good way to drain lymph nodes in the upper body armpits area? What is a good way to lower inflammation in the body? Thank you. So I presume you're talking about your lymph nodes under your arm in this region here. Well, a good massage, lymph massage with a therapist, you could have a physical therapy order for that. And you could do be well hydrated. You could take systemic enzymes like Vitalzyme or Vascuzyme. Fasting is very good for lymphatic drainage, along with taking enzymes and taking plenty of water, half your weight in pounds as ounces every day. And then doing a doing infrared sauna, doing a Finnish wet sauna. Saunas are very good for that as well. And I think EDTA chelation therapy, the intravenous, you could put an IV in your other arm, and that will promote microcirculation. That will help detox you as well. We also have the vitamin C in it, which is a very, very, very powerful detoxing mechanism. We do ultraviolet light irradiation of the blood, ozone therapy, oxygenation. So there's many, many things you can do. So you could see one of the doctors here and work on that. But you could fast on your own, drink your water, be low carb, take your enzymes, and that would be very, very good. And exercise, that would be very good. And then have a good massage. A doctor can actually write you for a lymphatic massage therapy. Lisi went on to ask, my cholesterol level is good. Is it okay to chelate with DMSA pills? What dose and how often? DMSA is an acronym for a medication that is dedicated to pulling out mercury. DMSA has in itself a risk for side effects, nausea, headache, rash, gas, bloating, diarrhea, these common things. But in general, usually DMSA comes as 50 milligrams and then 250 milligrams and 500 milligram tablets. I never prescribe it. I don't use the DMSA except when I do the challenge, because it's a protocol taught by ACAM. So we reproduce it. When you take the first IV, you get the EDTA and you take one tablet, which is the DMSA, and then 30 IVs later, you repeat the same process. So we're comparing apples with apples. So we get the exact same testing results to see improvement. Now, there are those doctors that use it as a separate independent chelating prescription medical entity orally, mostly directed at mercury, which it is designed to remove. So what would the dose be? I don't have it right off the top of my head because I don't memorize that if I'm not using it all the time. But you see, EDTA chelation therapy is such a broad spectrum chelator. I have had all my mercury chelated out with just using chelation therapy, along with gadolinium, the aluminum, the arsenic, the lead, all those things. So I've never bothered to risk my patients on another medication. And again, our whole process here is to do as little and as natural as possible and stay within good detoxing results. But I would say, in general, if I recall my training, DMSA is often used only 2 or 3 times a week, and that somewhere between 250 milligrams or to 500 milligrams in an adult. So there you have it. Let's see, David Hertzberg. What's the best way for us to control our blood pressure when we come in for chelation? God bless and thanks. Well, sometimes people come to the IV suite and it's a little tense. And you have a autonomic, it's not your conscious will, it's your subconscious will that becomes stressed, and you have a little epinephrine that creates a mild increase in the sympathetic stimulating hormones in your body that drives your blood pressure up a little bit. And some people just have that, and it's really not a problem. as long as your blood pressure when you're home or on a more relaxed scenario, and the pain, sometimes just the poke, 1 or 2 needles will generate this in people. I would come well hydrated. I would take, if you are on blood pressure medicines, I would take them for sure. But magnesium, we have a powdered magnesium that's very nice to take, which is called OptiMag Neural. Inferior but still good product is called Calm. You could get that at the over the counter. That's another magnesium, which is relaxing. But pretty much this is what we call a autonomic sympathetic, something you don't consciously do, but just pain and the tenseness, maybe the drive there, or just the mere fact of what you call white coat syndrome can do this. So make sure you follow up with your doctor and we talk about your blood pressure and we can look back at that. We do screen your blood pressures as they go through. They will call us. We have levels that if it's going above, the nurse will call the doctor to flag your chart and so forth on that. But well hydrated, maybe some magnesium in the morning, and then let your doctor know. Carol says the Better Way conference in Bath, UK was amazing. Okay, so she went to this health conference. I sent you the link. They recorded it. Carol, I think I remember, but I pretty much, all I do is I work, I go home and I study. So I know I watched a 5-hour program in this past week. Was it Canadian? Was it UK? Anyway, I'm glad you're doing that. And thank you very much to all my patients, friends, and family who do send me links or give me a heads up on things that are coming down the road. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write down here, Carol, so I can check that out on my email. That is called the Better Way Conference. And that's in the UK. And that was Carol Travis. I'll check into that, Carol. So thank you. Okay, EH says, hello, doctor, what supplements are needed on a carnivore or animal-based diet? Technically, there are none because, let's see, where did I just lost? Or is it? Yeah, what supplements are needed on a carnivore or animal-based diet? Really none because it's such a high dense nutrient, mineral, even vitamin C is in a very good carnivore diet. Now, all things being equal, I still take my multi-mineral. I still take my Juice Plus for my vitamin C and antioxidants. I still take digestive enzymes. If you're going to say anything that's probably valuable, it's taking orthodigestzyme when you are eating more of these proteins and fat and you need to break them down and digest them better. So I would be more liberal. I take about 5 orthodigestive enzyme whenever I'm eating meat, fish, chicken, turkey, beef. I use my systemic enzymes on an empty stomach morning and evening. I use my vitamin D anyway. I take quercetin in the form of D-Hist twice a day because I have allergies. What else do I take? I take CoQ10, although I probably don't need it because I eat so much meat. And sometimes I have beef heart, sometimes I have liver. But I still take DHEA as well. And I take my probiotics. That's probably something reasonable to take besides orthodigestive enzymes when you eat. And what else do I take? I think that's pretty much all that I take. My probiotics, DHA. Oh, I take iodine. I take iodine as well. So outside of iodine, vitamin D, probiotics, and digestive enzymes to help you eat it. Theoretically, that would be all that you really need. Now, given life and stress and all, I would take a systemic enzyme like Vitalzyme or Vascuzyme on an empty stomach once or twice a day, so your joints and your body disinflames. Drink plenty of water, exercise. And I feel so good, even though I'm working 6 days a week. I'm so happy I'm up to 4 days a week with my personal trainer working out. So I feel good doing that. And I feel exercise is extremely important. I use the Pilates twice a week for the stretch and mild resistance training. And then I do the heavy weight training twice a week. So if you want to know what and then I'm eating one meal a day, and that meal is usually between 3:30 and 5:30 once a day. So that's how I run my life. Let's see the next question. Damon. Damon says, hi, Thomas Seyfried and therapeutic keto diet. Any experience? Oh my goodness, Damon. Yes. Dr. Seyfried wrote the book Cancer as a Metabolic Mitochondrial Disease. So he's going to identify that we're really hurting our cell batteries called mitochondria with this junk food, processed food, hydrogenated fats, high carb, insulin stimulating, generating over time insulin resistance, obesity, and all this puts a strain on the battery that then creates hypoxia, and the hypoxia stimulates feedback mechanisms to the DNA for the cell to survive, and is very often associated with cell signals that will turn on growth along with the insulin from the high carbs. So absolutely, please, Americans, we are eating too many carbs. It's too available. God have mercy on us if we're going to go into a famine here, a manufactured famine, in my opinion, from a international crime syndicate in the government and pharmaceuticals. But we eat too many carbs. We've had too many carbs, and we have a great need to cut back voluntarily. So I think the intermittent fasting, restricting your time of eating, going to a one meal a day, and that's how I found that I feel the best with my blood type. I'm a B positive. Others who are younger and more active might need to eat more often, but even though I have a personal trainer 4 times a week, I am just not active enough to burn that much off to maintain my vitality. So you find what works best for you, but yes, Americans eat too many carbs. If I was practicing in Ethiopia or Somalia or someplace where they don't have enough calories at all, then I wouldn't be talking at all about watching your carbs because they don't even get enough calories in the first place. So this is designed for the American standard diet that has been harming us. So yes, I'm very much a fan of Dr. Thomas Seyfried. And there's a book by Dr. What is it called? Pure, White, and Deadly Yudkin, Yudkin, Professor Yudkin. He wrote this book in the 1950s, and he predicted everything. That had impressed my father, and my father was extremely vociferous when I was a child, almost 70 years ago. I can recall him poo-pooing all these sugars after reading that and extolling the virtue of a very good natural, healthy fats and protein in the diet. So Professor Yudkin, he's long since died, but he wrote that seminal book called Pure, White, and Deadly. And then, of course, another gentleman who would be supportive of that, if you go to a Dr. Thomas Levy, Levy, medical doctor and lawyer, JD, and he wrote some books, as well as he's on YouTube extolling the virtues of high-dose vitamin C to help with, chronic metabolic diseases and cancers, and the value of chelation therapy on this as well. Okay, that was Damon. There you go. Cindy, Hi, Dr. Rita. What are your thoughts on sourdough bread? Is it beneficial? Uh, I don't like bread in general because I see Americans eat too much, and it's almost like we have no self-control when we get into carbohydrates. Now, if you're talking about the polymer chain of glucose molecules that make the starch compared to fructose in sucrose and sugar and fruit sugars, yeah, if I'm going to weigh one to the other, I'm going to say the starch polymer of just glucose is better, but there are still sugars, and we generally have too much. The other thing is the rising technique and the um, digestibility of the sourdough, because it's such a fermented bread, tends to be having less of the negative effect on gut food allergies with the gluten impact on the lectins. So if I have any bread, I would prefer it to be a sourdough bread. And yes, but I'd be very careful with it just because it can open the door to, oh, I can afford this and more and more. And then suddenly your carbohydrate numbers and hemoglobin A1C and your insulin are climbing up. So work with your doctor on that and track how you're doing. But sourdough bread is probably my preferred bread, if anything. Deanne says, Dr. Rita, what are your suggestions for ear wax removal for small eardrums by myself? Have to do this every 6 months with an ENT now. Well, our ears are designed in the canals to have little hairs protruding in it, just like you have little hairs on your skin everywhere. And if a bug were to crawl into your ear, then that bug will wiggle the hair in the ear canal, which is a stimulus to secrete cerumen, which is wax, to kill the bug. Okay, so this is a defense mechanism. And this is a way that the ear cleans itself of old cells. And it's supposed to dry up and fall out. Now, we Americans are showering and showering daily, and we're getting our ears wet, and we were never meant to be this wet and have that. So if you're not letting your ears be totally dry from water, 6 days a week, just wash once a week, that will help you. And you could, I would not stick anything in there because that's just going to wiggle those hair wheels, hair follicles. There are wax dissolvents that you could use, but you start making this a process. You have to work with your ear, nose, and throat doctor. If you, Deanna, are the Deanna I think you are, remind me of that, because I don't remember, if you're my patient, I don't recall that your ear canals were that small. And I look in your ears and everyone's ears here every time I see you 99% of the time. So I hope you're trying to keep them out of the water and dry so that you're not washing your hair every day or swimming every day. That's probably one of the number one things. David Hertzberg says, hi, Dr. Rita. What are your thoughts on taking strontium for osteoporosis? Thank you, and may God bless. Vaccine. Okay, God bless. Strontium is a research component of the mineral structure necessary for healthy bone repair. It is in a natural diet, especially if you are eating meat, fish, chicken, turkey, beef, pork, eggs, crustaceans, and all that. So that needing a supplement with this is probably not that necessary. If you're exercising, if you're stomping, sudden deceleration exercises stimulate the shaft of the bone with you stopping suddenly on your foot, like if you're jamming your heels down. I do have TLC Bone Health. I did put in the strontium in that. But I think more important is a healthy lifestyle with exercise, natural hormone replacement repair, adequate hydration, and enzymes to reduce the acidity and inflammation in your body, a good night's sleep. Those are the important things, not supplementing and looking for extra calcium or strontium or other things such as that. Now, the MK7 that is with the vitamin D, I do think is very favorable for bone repair and replacements. That's why almost all of my vitamin Ds have the vitamin K with it as well. So I'm not against strontium, but I think we're looking for exotic things when really just good old-fashioned healthy living is tried and true, the healthiest thing. Robert says, why is adding artificial food coloring to food great for losing weight? It is a way for you to diet. Oh, I should have known. I walked right into that, Robert. That was a joke. All right, there you go. Why is adding artificial food coloring to food great for losing weight? It is a way for you to diet. Okay, very good. All right, EH. Thank you, Robert. Doctor, can you please explain how plants detox or cleanse if they have anti-nutrients? That's it's a good question, and it's something that we doctors and scientists, we argue all the time. These anti-nutrients, which are their defense mechanism, so it's their immune system, you might say. It is the lectin is the name in general for all their plant protein antigens that help repel insects and mold and bacteria. Then they have the phytates, then they have the oxalates, then they have the tannins. So there are many components of the structure of the plant that are irritating to the human gut because we aren't plants. We are mammals, animals. And we are better designed to be eating meat, fish, chicken, turkey, fish, pork, eggs, cheese, all these mammalian products. So I'm in agreement with you. And that's why I feel better on a largely carnivore diet. And that's how I think I feel so filled with eating one meal a day, because if I have, 10 ounces of beef, either in the form of hamburger or a steak, or in the form of chicken with the skin on it, or a big slab of salmon, I am quite satisfied, and it provides so much rebuilding structure, and it's easily assimilated. I do need my digestive enzymes. So yes, plants can create, just like one of the first questions about adding cilantro and parsley. These are known to help promote detoxing, but we Americans, we do it big and too much. We eat too much big food and carbs, and we tend to create blenders full of cilantro and parsley, and we turn this into a massive thing. And I agree, it's not probably something that we should be doing. All right, Carol Travis, do you know a chiropractor that uses the activator? I asked Dr. Merrick, but she only knows someone that is close to where she lives. Well, I do know that DeMoss in Huntington Beach uses the activator. And I believe the one right here in the corner, Dr. Haas, right here in our place in the corner, right next to, it's right 50 feet away. So the chiropractor here. So hopefully that helps you. April says, hello, what is your opinion on DHEA supplements for women in perimenopause? I'm 45. I'm way in favor of DHEA. Dihydro, I take it all the time, and I have ever since my late 30s. So I would say close to 30 years I've been taking DHEA all the time. Dihydroepiandrosterone is a basic, essential breakdown product of digesting your cholesterol into protein and into progesterone and DHEA. And the DHEA is used in many other biochemical and bodily repairs, so that one of the things it's well known for is building up your immune system. Another thing it's known for is supporting your adrenal glands and stress. Aging is stressful. So if you take DHEA, this really helps you manage your cortisol and stress, which helps you with weight management because high cortisol stress tends to make women gain weight. If they have a very stressful life, they tend to have a lot of cortisol, which means they gain a lot of weight in general. So this will help mitigate that. The other thing is it helps you with your testosterone for your muscle mass. So I've been able to maintain a large muscle mass and not wither away as much as I'm nearly 70. So yeah, I'm all in favor of it. Constance, cure for nocturia. Also, are game meats like elk, bison, lamb better than beef and pork? Game meats taste so strong. I would say if you look on a nutrient assay, but you have to look at it compared like to the 1950s when they really started doing this in the United States, and science was less captured and bought off by the international crime syndicate and the healthcare system. So the nutrient density of food has diminished because of industrialized farming, big farming, and so forth. And the heavy metals dumped out by chemtrails and stuff like that has created some damage to the foresting of these other animals. But I'm going to say hands down, wild-caught bison and venison and these others are a more nutrient dense. Yes, I'm going to say that for sure. It does taste strong. And so, that's where using like the cayenne pepper and these kind of flavorings is very helpful, and salt. Marcia says, what is your opinion on collagen supplements for overall health and bone health? Can it be taken with VitalZyme as it needs to be taken on an empty stomach? The answer is yes, it can be taken with VitalZyme. The other statement is there's a lot of corruption in the healthcare system, just like in standard medicine. And the Dalton size, which is a term for the particle size of the collagen, and not all collagen is equal or useful. And so your body has to digest it and get it down to a size that is suitable for absorption, and then incorporate it into the structure of your body, whether it's in your face and skin or your joints everywhere in your body. So there are studies out there that have a Dalton size that has been looked at by physicians and patients who have been tracked, and the measurement of the size, and that is in a product that we carry here. What is the name of it? It is called Collagen and Chondroflex. Chondroflex and collagen. So I can vouch for that one at least because I've seen the paperwork on it. I know the company and the ethics of it. And so Chondroflex and collagen, COLLA capital GEN by Orthomolecular. And that's a good product. And yes, it was demonstrated to help with, this was a study on cartilage for knee repair and slowing down degenerative joint diseases. So yeah, there is some, and yes, you can take it in the morning with your enzymes. RMJ, why does chemotherapy make people so sick? Is chelation helpful? Absolutely, chelation is marvelously helpful. Chemotherapy, it's taking a poison. This poison is designed to be taken up by rapidly turning over fast-growing cells of a tumor that grow faster than the standard body cells in general, and hopefully then it will be taken up by the tumor cells and it will kill them. It gets into the metabolism of the cell, and destroys the cell life cycle. The problem is we have rapidly turning over cells in our bodies, such as all the stuff lining our gastrointestinal system from our mouth to our anus is a one cell thick gastrointestinal barrier, and that has rapid turnover. Also, your hair has rapid turnover, your nails, your skin. So some of the terrible side effects of chemotherapy is the gastrointestinal nausea, diarrhea, bloating, discomfort in the abdomen, the hair loss, the skin and the rashes, this kind of stuff. So that is why it's such a problem. Now, if you study cell physiology and the normal cell cycle phases of cell turnover, a normal healthy cell, there's phases of it, and these are labeled and followed phases, and these typically occur at night when you're asleep. So when you're asleep, most of your healing is occurring. That's why we encourage you to go to bed somewhere around 9:30. So you get the natural circadian electromagnetic energy of the sun and the going down and the energy to heal at night. And then you should rise up early, 5:30 to start your day and have a cycle that is working in tandem with the sun and the seasonal cycles. Now, if the turnover time is really best in the evening, probably the best time to do chemotherapy is somewhere between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. To be finished. But no oncologist is going to run his program 9 to 6. So that chemotherapy has always been problematic, always is a problem, and it always has these side effects. What I would say is if you take NT factor powder, the phospholipids that help promote healing, and you eat a restricted menu. See, these are the fats and these are the proteins that help repair the lining of the gastrointestinal cell membrane. So it gets hurt like this, and you have to repair it back to this double layer here. And these are phospholipids and protein blobs. So we have the powders that we give the patients with essential fats. We put them on a very low carb diet. And then this helps them with their repair and their healing and their tolerance. The EDTA chelation therapy improves all the microcirculation, helps take out like the gadolinium dye toxins that are used in so many scans with cancer patients. And it allows the chemotherapy to get deeper penetration and reach the tumor in a better form. So we have tremendous results doing these protocols with chemotherapy, with chelation therapy, and with high-dose vitamin C. So there you go. Hopefully that answered your question there. Let's see. Let's see. All right, Dolores says, hi, Dr. Rita, question on taking supplements. Is it better to take on an empty stomach or after a meal? Thank you. It really doesn't matter. It just depends on your tolerance. The only thing I tell people is you should take your digestive enzymes after you've eaten a meal so you can help yourself digest the meal. So orthodigest I take after I eat. And my systemic enzymes I take on an empty stomach morning and evening, so they're absorbed into my system and they don't waste themselves on digesting food. The rest of my supplements, I just take when I can. And I split them into a morning and evening little pile. So the morning vitamins I take, I usually don't have any food because I don't eat till about 3:30 to 5:30. And then I take my evening supplements somewhere around 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So I don't think it really makes a difference. Nikki, I'm not sure if the thread is for a specific topic or not. What could cause habitual for years halitosis in someone with good dental hygiene? Um, I'm going to say they could not be digesting well, and they can have residual chyme in their stomach and the gas. That's why we have a breath test for H. pylori, things like that. Others can have a chronic sinus infection that they would not be aware of. So I would see a doctor who would do a sinus x-ray or a CT of your sinuses, or work to do a breath test for your digestion, get a complete digestive stool analysis, give you some probiotics, put you on intermittent fasting, a low carb diet so you don't feed the bad bacteria, and help you with digestive enzymes very often. And then I would use an Argentin nasal spray, which is a nanoparticulate silver rinse for the sinuses, and systemic enzymes gets rid of inflammation. So see a doctor or come here and maybe we can try and help you with that. Garden Fairy, do you think there is value to cyclic hormones versus static for post-menopausal women? I think it's one of those, is the chicken before the egg or the egg before the chicken, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. After 40 years plus of doing this, I have done a cycled hormone therapy just because at my age, I want to know, because I don't test my blood very often, simply because I feel so well and I can't live any healthier per se than I am teaching everyone to do. So if I'm going to get a cancer or have a heart attack, with all the stress and working for the past 50 years of my life like this and all my stress, I would say, I'm living a healthy lifestyle, and come what may, I look forward to going to heaven and meeting my Creator, God, and the Lord Jesus Christ, my Savior. So I'm not testing myself. So one of my rationales is, if I use my progesterone the first of the month through the 15th of the month, I should have a tiny little breakthrough bleeding menstrual cycle right around mid-month every month. And if I do, then I know that everything's normal and the right way it should be. I use my estradiol continuously, but I use my progesterone the 1st through the 15th. Now, let's say I was using my progesterone all the time. Well, even still, in a normal situation, I could get a occasional breakthrough bleeding, which doesn't necessarily mean there's uterine cancer or anything like that. But I just don't want to worry about breakthrough episodes and have to do a pelvic and have to do an ultrasound of my uterus. So I just said, I'm going to do it cyclically. I'm going to have a little bit of clean out. If there's anything to clean out, it will clean out when I stop my progesterone or right as I get to the end of my progesterone. And I'll have a few days of a little cycle, a light day pad, and that's it. And as long as I don't see any bleeding out of that time frame, I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to worry. All right, so there you have it. That's how I choose to run my life. Now, as a doctor, I'm going to tell my patients, the standard of care in California is to get an annual mammogram, to do your bone density every 2 years, to get your colonoscopy at set points and times. And if you have any spotting or anything like that, you have to see a gynecologist and do an ultrasound. But I'm running my life, and that's how I'm going to do it for me. So I don't know if there's any benefit to it or not, other than what I just explained. Jennifer says, hi, Dr. Rita. For someone who can't swallow capsules, is it okay to open up an iodine capsule onto hot steamed broccoli? Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. No problem with that, Jennifer. Nora says, hello, Dr. Rita. Thank you for just saying hi. Vanessa says, hi, Dr. Rita. What do you recommend for a liver detox? I'll tell you what, fasting. I would say fasting. I would try and do, start with, if you've never fasted, give up breakfast and learn to eat somewhere between noon and 6 p.m. and don't eat after 6. Just a low carb diet is very cleansing for the liver. Another thing is then if you could do a 24-hour fast, that takes all the work off your liver for digestion and detoxing things. If you could do a 2 or a 3-day water fast, that's even superior. So I eat one meal a day. So my liver is cleansing about 20 hours, 22 hours every day of my life. And then I do a 5-day fast twice a year. So fasting is the best detox that a human can do. Drinking water, staying adequately hydrated. All this talk about special herbs, cilantro, taking grapeseed extract, taking flushes, I think it's unnecessary, and I would save money. That's why people get so healthy for the most part, even though they're in poor countries. The lack of all this junk food access is a great benefit for human health. So that's what I would say. Karen said, what probiotic do you recommend? Well, it kind of depends on the situation. If you're talking about a good, faithful, well-studied, clinically researched one, I like the company because I know their morals. I've been out there, I've checked their labs and their assays. So orthomolecular, and I use their orthobiotic, and I use 1 or 2 a day. That's my standard. Now, I test other things out. I'm looking at new products, and so I might add in another probiotic for research. I'm looking at something by Dr. Grundy, a probiotic, and then I'm looking at, what's another one? What's the other one? Oh, Orthobiotic came out with those with irritable bowel called Orthospore IG. So sometimes I'm playing around with 3 different probiotics at a time. No, there's no rationale for this. It's just I'm testing them on myself. I want to try them out. I will look at the clinical research, but my standard is orthobiotic. It's a broad spectrum, very well designed. But I'm very much in favor of probiotics and a healthy gut. Constance says over 600 international units daily vitamin D can cause kidney stones. Was taking K-Force 5,000. Well, that's foolish. It cannot cause kidney stones. So whatever you read on that, I'm unfamiliar with any research associated with that. Plus, I have decades and decades worth of patients that I've used 5, 10, 15, 20,000 a day for decades. So no, I'm not going to buy that vitamin D at 600 international units is associated with kidney stones. Not at all. Nora, I have osteopenia and osteoporosis. I have it in the left and right hips and lumbar. Well, you need to stomp, like a brat, like you're having a temper tantrum in the grocery store with your mom, when you were a little girl and you're stomping on the ground. Do that 15 seconds twice a day. Get a rubber hammer, hit something hard, cement-like, 10 hits, both arms for sudden deceleration, or get a punching bag. That's what I have in my house. And then that will help with your wrists and the strength of your bones. And then drink your water. I support natural hormone replacement therapy, at least DHEA, and then vitamin D with K2 and systemic enzymes. That's what I would do. Jennifer, is there a urine test for glyphosate? Does the glycine in the energy core help remove glyphosate? I don't know of that, Jennifer. And no, we don't have a test that I'm aware of for glyphosate. I would just, as much as you can, try and stay away from industrialized farming products, processed foods, and always go for the wild caught. So the more you eat more like a carnivore who is grazing, hopefully on non-GMO grass, you're going to be staying away from that. But we can't live in a world of terror. We have to live in peace and love toward our fellow man. God knows what's going on, and He's watching over us. So just stay away from the grains and the soy and the corn. These are the major glyphosated products out there, and I think you're going to do fine. Um, Michael says, on your eating once per day diet, what do you consume during the day? I eat meat primarily. I order Butcher Box, and they'll send like somewhere in the realm of 20 steaks and 10 pounds of hamburger and maybe 8 pounds of bacon. What else is in there? I think that's all. And so I'm cooking up hamburger. Like today, I had hamburger. I had three, big patties. And I had that between 1:30 and 2:30, 3 o'clock today. So I won't eat anymore. I've already brushed my teeth for the evening. And I didn't have anything else than the hamburger. So now I do cook up onions sometimes and mushrooms. So it's not unusual for me to have my big steak with mushrooms and onions, or onions with steak one day and mushrooms the next day, that kind of a thing. So I primarily eat meat. Let's see, what else? Cindy, is the chiropractor beneficial for pregnancy? I think anytime you are trying to work on your posture and your nerve outlets, this is beneficial, and especially after delivery. So I'm going to support my colleagues in healthcare, my chiropractic brothers, who are so valuable in helping with posture and nerve root outlet. So I'm going to say that's a benefit, yes. Damon Salisbury, thank you, Dr. E, for the therapeutic diet information by C-Free. I live nearby. Would you be able to treat or at least consult me? I know there are legal issues with treating cancer. Damon, we're open, yes, to treat people. Now, we do not treat cancers because I'm not an oncologist. What we do is we say we're building up your immune system, we're building up your nutritional level, we are detoxing you, and we're coming alongside any oncological management that your oncologist would give. Now, if you choose not to see an oncologist, that's your choice. But for those patients of mine who choose not to, I inform them each time that the standard of care is to see the oncologist. So it's clear that that's your medical decision in managing your life. But no, we don't presume to treat cancers. We just help build up your own immune system and nutritional state and detox you and guide you in that. So we'd be most blessed and happy to work with you. Let's see. This is Cagster. 1. Have a sinus problem. Mucus runs down through my nose and goes down my lungs. As a result, I have congestion in my lungs, cough very often. The problem disappears, then appears. What can I do? You need to know your blood type. You need to go low carb so that you don't promote the growth of fungi and bacteria. You need to be on enzymes to disinflame yourself with probiotics. And then you probably should get the Argentyn Silver nasal spray. I would squirt it up my nose dozens of times a day and before I go to bed at night. And then I would take natural antihistamines. We use here D-Hist, which is the quercetin rich stinging nettles, all those wonderful things that help you find off viruses anyway. And then you might need food allergies. You could be eating a food that you're constantly in the mucous membranes taking in that creates this inflammation, and then you produce the mucus that drips. So I would come to a functional doctor who's familiar with all of these various ways of looking at this. Dorothy says, I heard that we cannot get enough vitamin D from food and that there are different forms of vitamin D. What is the most effective form of D? That would be vitamin D3. and you get the cholesterol from eating your food. So they've demonized cholesterol. The international crime syndicate called your healthcare system has trained up uninformed doctors, and they don't understand the value of butter and eating the skin on the chicken and the grass-fed beef and fat. And you need that cholesterol to get into your body for the sunlight to hit. And then they're doing this damn geostratospheric lines in the sky that send out toxic heavy metals that land on everything. So yes, there's a international crime syndicate out there. So that blocks the sun from getting to your skin for the cholesterol. So I would supplement with vitamin D3 with K2. April, thank you, Dr. Rita. God bless you. Thank you. Karen D, thank you for all your help and all that you do. Greatly appreciated. Take good care of yourself. Amen. And get the rest you need. Keeping you in our prayer. Thank you, Karen, for praying for me. Thank you so much. EH, thank you, Dr. Rita. And Libby, hello, Dr. Rita. Considering a very sensitive digestive system, how do you feel about taking dedicated liver for iron deficiency anemia? Yes, I'm all in favor of that. I don't have a brand that I know of. Now, Weston Price Foundation and Sally Fallon, who runs it, she's the president of it. She has a wonderful baby formula for homemade, and they use liver for the milk intolerant babies. It's fabulous. And then they have the liver capsules as well. Nora Leon, amen. Thank you. Elizabeth Clark, can osteoarthritis be treated with supplements? Yes, but it's a whole lifestyle thing. You got to know your blood type. You've got to use enzymes. You've got to drink enough water. You probably need chelation therapy to improve microcirculation. Hormones help this. Systemic enzymes help this. So, Elizabeth, you really should see a very good functional doctor who can work with you. Nora says, hi, Dr. Rita. I have a sinus problem which started a year ago. I tried to treat it naturally. I couldn't. What would you recommend? Well, Nora, again, I mentioned before with the other lady, the Argentin nasal spray, that's nanoparticulate silver. We have it here in the office. It's a nasal spray. You just squirt many times. I use it all the time to prevent getting problems and to rinse my nose at the end of a night when I see patients all day long. Drinking enough water, doing food allergies to see if you're eating something that's inflaming you, finding out your blood type, and being low carb. And that's how we would begin. Alicia says, can you recommend a neurologist in Orange County? Thank you. Well, I mean, I don't have one that I favor, Alicia, that is friendly to natural ideas. Dr. O'Carroll, Dr. Shukla, I think is another one. But I would just use the internet and find one that way. Cindy Love, should we put salt in our drinking water? Many times, if you're using like a Himalayan or a mineralized salt, I would say a pinch would be very good, yes. Marcia says, are there any adverse effects on medications if I take collagen supplements? No, I know of none, Marcia. Kingster says, thank you, Dr. Rita. God bless you. Carol Travis, do you know when collagen Biorhythm will be back in stock? Oh, I didn't know it was out of stock. So you got to call 714-544-1521 and ask the people in the stock room there. I didn't get a notice, or maybe I brushed through it. I've been working so much 6 days a week. Some of these little admin things have just kind of gotten blown over my head. I'm in survival mode. Hi, Dr. Rita. What do blood types mean? I am an AB positive. What should I do different? Well, your blood type is another feature that defines who you are and how you react to the world. So your A's don't digest foods as well. O's tend to have a lot of stomach acid and get the ulcers. So those are two extremes that we find a pattern in blood type. B tends to have a lot of seasonal and environmental allergies, And ABs are kind of like a blend between not digesting well and having allergies, but not as bad as A or B alone. So, yeah, see a doctor and your age. The older you get, you just don't digest as well as your age, so you need digestive enzymes then. So don't fall for the book. There's a book out there called Eat for Your Blood Type, and that's by Diadamo. And the concept is correct, but all his chatter and his vitamins that he tries to make money off his theory is, I think, shameful. Tiziana, lastly, can you recommend a cardiologist? Yes, it's Dr. I think his name is Mark Tucker in Orange County. Now, he's a more natural cardiologist. If you call the office, Tiziana, and ask for Dr. Tucker's contact, I know he's in Orange or the city of Orange. He's excellent. He's very, very good. So hopefully that helps you. And with that, we're after 7. So, folks, I'm going to call it a night. And now, next Monday is Memorial Day, and I am going to be here. So I will be here, faithful, true, and blue, for your Monday, 6 o'clock in the evening, Memorial Day, remembering all our soldiers who gave their life to preserve your liberty. Remember, I would call 202-224-3121. Again, 202-224-3121. That's the switchboard to the Capitol office. The Geneva World Health Organization and the Davos World Economic Forum, they're working to take our medical freedom away and put it under submission to the World Health Organization for all kinds of pandemic management, so that there will be a central government ruling all healthcare management. And if you think they ran it well through this foolishness over this pandemic, it's going to be far worse, and they will have a lockdown, I guarantee you, before the midterms. So please call 202-224-3121 and keep our country sovereignty and our healthcare private and personal and local in management. God bless and have a wonderful night. All right, take care.